Okay, so welcome back, Archie. Yeah, Elaine, nice to see you. Good chat. I think that's prepared us well for today's lesson, hopefully, which is all about happiness again, the relationship between happiness and love. So I think let's kick it off with a quote from a psychiatrist today who led the grant study for 40 years, and we'll talk about what the grant study is and what it found. The longest study that's ever been conducted about happiness in human history, and what is it actually telling us? So Archie, if you can read that quote kindly to kick it off.
The 75 years and $20 million expended on the grant study points to a straightforward 5-word conclusion. Happiness is love, full stop.
Which is wonderfully said. So
Mm.
this was the lead psychiatrist on it for 40 years. Very famous study. You can look it up. I've actually put the link in there. So it was a 87 year now. It's been going 87 years, so nearly a century. Continuing longitudinal study from the study of adult development at Harvard Medical School started in 1938. So it followed 268 Harvard-educated men, majority of whom were members of the undergraduate classes of 1942, 43, and 44. Interestingly, included John F. Kennedy as one of those. There were many senators, lawyers, politicians, businessmen, etc. Because obviously we know Harvard is like the cream of the crop in American society. But they also did something called the Gluck study, which included a second cohort of nearly 500 disadvantaged, non-delinquent inner city youths who grew up in Boston neighborhoods between 1940 and 1945. So they didn't just do it for privileged, mostly white upper class men. They followed another socioeconomic group, and they continue to study them for their entire lives. Every 2 years, questionnaires, and so on. And so the results of the study are pretty important because they're over such a long period of time, and it's been done across a statistically significant population. There's only 10 people, less so, but there's 700, nearly 800 people who've been part of the study over a long period of time. And the studies also follow the lives of their children. So after over 80 years of research costing over $20 million, these studies found that there are two primary factors that lead to happiness and life satisfaction. Number one, the warmth of relationships throughout life. We could call that love. And number two, coping with life in a way that does not push love away. Very important. So love and the ability to cope with the inevitable difficulties of life in a way that doesn't deny it, that doesn't push it away. You see where we're going with this, because we start to see that actually it's telling us in the research exactly what the course is telling us and what the course is recommending, right? Love is the only thing that's going to really make us happy, and we need to learn to cope with the difficulties of life in a way that does not push love away. In other words, we forgive and we let things go, and we in fact strengthen our connection with love. We strengthen our love in the face of adversity. So the studies also found interestingly, that good relationships keep us happy and healthy, and loneliness kills. That was a very clear finding. They found that the quality of our close relationships really matters in our lives. In fact, I think went so far as to say that is the single most important factor in determining the longevity of someone, is the quality of their close relationships. If they had good close relationships, it didn't matter if they had other risk factors. Maybe they drank and they smoked. The biggest risk factor was a dysfunctional intimate relationship with their partner, if they had one, or with close family members, children, and so on. And then thirdly, corollary to all that is that warm, loving relationships keep our brains healthy and prevent memory loss and dementia as we age.
Mm.
So some really interesting findings, which have been confirmed by other research. And the lead psychiatrist just summed it all up in a beautiful way. That happiness is love. Full stop. That's it. There's nothing else to it. But what does that love really mean? Well, that's an interesting question and part of our ongoing learning and exploration. What does love really mean? Is that special love? Is that just being in a special relationship? Is there something deeper and more meaningful than just that version of love? And that's of course why we're doing the course and doing the mind training. So you can read an article on it. There's a whole article on the grant study. The Wikipedia article, and then there's also a video, which we won't look at now, but for your own enlightenment to listen to that, watch it in your own time. So if we're going to frame this in Course in Miracles terminology, love, which Yeshua says in the introduction to the text, is beyond what can be taught, and removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence are the keys to a happy life. There it is, right? The first, the two factors: warmth of relationships through life, love, and dealing with love in a way that doesn't push love away, removing the blocks to awareness of love's presence, in other words, are the keys to a happy life.
Well, we were discussing that earlier as well, weren't we, in relation to the blue zones?
Yeah.
That was about a week ago, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. The blue zone, that research confirms this. It shows that one of the absolutely the key factors in all those blue zones is that people have a sense of community, a very connected social life. They feel part of the community. They don't feel separated and alone. They're included in family life and in community life, very much so, and they are valued and honored into their old age. It's not like, oh, now we stick them in a retirement home. And conversely, research shows that if you put someone in a retirement home, it reduces their life expectancy by between 2 and 6 years, which is pretty huge. 2 to 6 year drop the moment you go into a facility that's designed supposedly to really take care of you, as opposed to just living in a society in a more normal way. So in the modern world, we've come up with all these inventions, and we think it's been a good idea, but actually it's really not a good idea at all. The blue zones remind us, look, there's another way of living, more traditionally, more authentically. This is how the world used to work. It doesn't work that way anymore, but it could work that way if we go back to that pattern. We just got to let go of some of these deleterious aspects of modern living that really came from a mindset, came from the scientific materialist paradigm. Scientific materialism is, well, that would be a good idea. Let's put all the old people together, and that's a much more efficient way to deal with them, and then we can have care, and logically that sounds good, and they're going to have all the care they need, and we can now We can now concentrate that care, and rather than having that, the ego says rationally that makes sense, but missing the most important factor, which is love. Now they've lost that connection with their friends and family, and they're only with old people. So what's likely to happen is that the joie de vivre, the life that they get from mixing with younger people starts draining out of them, and they just adopt very old ways. And too often, the easy way is just to get them to watch TV. But that's the worst thing you can do for someone's mental health. It's just watch loads of TV. It doesn't promote mental health or well-being at all.
Yeah.
So the research is pretty clear, and that just backs up what teachings like the course say. And he lays it out pretty clearly in the introduction. So perhaps you can read that. Elaine, would you read the first paragraph for us? Does that need to be made a bit bigger? Perhaps.
Yeah, and pinch it out. So
pinch it out, okay.
Yeah.
If you can read that first paragraph for us of the introduction.
Yeah. This is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at any given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
Yeah. So can you see that the message very clearly in the introduction? He's telling us what the key to a happy life is: love, and then dealing with love in a way that removes the blocks, dealing with the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, as he calls them. So very much in alignment with what the grant study is saying, which again is a real world verification that these teachings work, that they're based on truth, and they actually work in our practical lives. Despite the metaphysics, you say nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That's not something that everyone's going to understand straight away. But if you drill down into that, it's really just saying that love, which is real, is always there. It can't really be threatened, and the unreal can't really deny that. So anything that denies love can just be looked at correctly, just let go of, and you can restore your mind to love. And in doing that lies the peace of God, the peace of perfect love, if you use one of our translations for God.
Can I just ask, Jonathan, it says the course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. Is that because it's not something that can be taught, it can only be experienced? Is that what it's sort of saying in that sentence?
Yeah,
that you can't be taught the meaning of love. It's something that you experience and apply.
You can be taught how to let go of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So that's the only thing we can learn, is let go of these blocks and restore our mind to its original state of love, which is our natural state. It's an experience. It's beyond learning.
Yeah.
It's who we really are.
Yeah.
But we can learn how to let go of what's not love.
Yeah.
Of what blocks our awareness of love's presence. And that's really what the course is dedicated to.
Yeah.
which leads us nicely into the interpretation of the sculpture. So that is the statue of the David. You probably recognize it. Maybe you've seen it if you've been to Florence.
Yeah.
I saw a replica. I didn't actually go see the original because it was too long a queue.
Yeah.
But amazing work of art. But I think the most interesting thing about the statue of David is how it was done. And they asked Michelangelo how he did it. This was this block of marble that had been twice discarded by the sculptors and sitting around for about 40 years when he finally got his hands on it. And he was asked how he sculpted that masterpiece and others. He did other sculptural masterpieces as well. And that's what he said. So if you can read that quote from Michelangelo Buonarroti, Archie. Very appropriate given you've just been in Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, the sculpture is already complete within the marble block before I start my work. It is already there. I just have to chisel away the superfluous material.
Interesting the way he frames it.
Yeah.
It's already there. So he can obviously see it in his mind's eye.
Yeah.
He has it already there. And then, he's just been guided. Evidently, I mean, that's guided. Like, how do you do that? How would you know exactly how to take a raw block of marble and do that?
Yeah.
The whole process would have been guided by his intuition, his Holy Spirit, to just, make exactly the right chisel. So that vision that he had of the true David that lay within would have been what guided him. And in the same way, that's why I use it. In the same way, our vision of our true self, our knowledge of our true self, guides us in this process. Something in us knows that it's there, just waiting to be uncovered. We just need to let go of all the blocks to awareness of love's presence, which is like chiseling away all the superfluous material to reveal what's already there. It's not like we have to go and create that self. When I first started Lifeboard, we had a slogan saying, create yourself. And I changed it after a few years after I'd parted company with my then partner, because it's not correct. You don't create yourself. That's an illusion. You discover the self that you already are.
Yeah.
And so it's much more like the sculpture than, say, a painting, where you've got a blank. Some people are like, oh, you can paint the picture of your life on a blank canvas, and you can use any paints you want, and you can be really creative. And no. This is already there, and you're just uncovering it. So much more like sculpting than painting. And in fact, the painting covers over the essence. If we use that analogy of the blank screen being the truth, then painting over it just covers it over. And it might look amazing, but actually we've forgotten what's underneath it, which is the blank canvas. So worth bearing in mind that this is how we create the masterpiece, spiritual masterpiece of our true selves, the Christ that's within us. It's having a higher vision, and then it's skillful action to reveal that higher vision. Leads to the masterpiece of who we are. Right? The higher vision is given to us by the Holy Spirit. It tells us we are whole and complete and innocent and perfect, irrespective of what we've done. But now it's going to require skillful action to reveal that to us. And that skillful action is forgiveness or letting go. So think of it as chiseling. Forgiveness, every time you forgive something or someone, you are chiseling away, and you're taking away superfluous material and revealing your true self. That's the skillful action that reveals the masterpiece that you already are, but which needs the skillful action to reveal, in the same way as Michelangelo had to chisel away for years to reveal the masterpiece of the David to the world. Okay, hopefully that analogy makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The masterpiece, as I've said, is not anything in art or literature or any other form. The real masterpiece is you, the real you, your true self.
Mm.
Not the you that's the unsculpted block of marble, which you and other people may have judged as valueless, but your true self that is already whole, complete, and perfect within you, but just needs some skillful chiseling to reveal.
Mm.
And so, how do you do that? You might well ask. Well, the simple answer is let go. You need to let go of those rough edges that are not you. So, the guilt, the fear, the sin, the attack thoughts, all those parts of yourself that are not authentic need to be identified and then let go of. In the same way as you would create the sculpture. You'd say, okay, there's a little bit of a rough edge there. I need to just chisel that away. And then you take the hammer and the chisel and you chisel it. And so the awareness of it is necessary first. That's okay. I see that that's a rough edge. It needs to be refined. And then step two is the actual chiseling away, which is the process of letting it go and dropping those negative thoughts and emotions in your mind by reminding yourself that they're simply not real, that they're not true, they're not real, they don't really exist. And the moment you understand that, you've chiseled it away. You just cut that away and it's no longer in your mind and in your consciousness.
Mm.
And that's really the absolute key to self-realization. So listening to this podcast by a guy called Michael Singer, you might have heard of him, best-selling author of The Untethered Soul, Living Untethered, Beyond the Human Predicament. What struck me about this podcast is that he's just saying really what the Course is saying. Nothing different. He's just saying it's all about forgiveness or letting go. And that if you're letting go, you're on a spiritual path. And interesting, it was on the Tony Robbins podcast. You see people like Tony Robbins, who has been associated with the go-go mindset and very majestic and making things happen. In order to live a fulfilled life, you've got to go and do things and make things happen. He's starting to shift into this, okay, well, after all that, what's left? Because you can go and go and go. Are you actually going to find that peace of mind that you really yearn for? And he's turned to people like Michael Singer to get obviously another perspective and a wisdom that maybe he doesn't have yet. I'm starting to acquire it. So I found that quite interesting. That even someone who's been as majestic as Tony Robbins in the past is now moving more in a spiritual direction, saying, no, it's actually more about letting go than about becoming something else, because that's Michael Singer's whole message. So the scientific research, the experience of people in the Grant study, of your own experience in life, all validate this message that every authentic spiritual teaching and teacher has taught us throughout history. So that's really the key insight behind it. Elaine, if you can read that slide from us, just to give us the key insight.
Consistently feeling genuine love or abundance is the key to leading an authentically happy life.
Yeah, if you can consistently feel this love, I've called it abundance as well. It's an expanded mindset. It's a feeling that everything's okay, everything's actually fine, and there are really no problems in this loving awareness, in this abundance that can't be solved. Then you have the key to happiness. It will follow naturally from the love and abundance that you feel. So you don't have to go and seek happiness. You just have to let go of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Restore your mind to the love or abundance that was and still is its reality. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's a relief. You don't have to do infinite things and master complicated formulas, and you just have to let go of what you're not to embrace what you are.
Yeah.
That's a very simple message, and much more doable than say, okay, well, now you've got 12 steps to do this, and complicated formulas, and there's many of those in the personal growth world. This is about as simple as it gets. It's saying you're already that, but you've forgotten it, so just let go of all that false identification as it shows up, and you'll restore your mind to what you already are. And you don't have to try and become that. You just have to focus on letting go of the blocks to the awareness of that. That's your whole job here, i.e. forgiveness or letting go becomes your purpose on you here, and that's going to bring you the loving feeling and the authentic happiness that you yearn for. Okay, so any comments, thoughts, questions on any of that? It's simple stuff, but it's profound nevertheless. That's why I've gone over it again. And can you see how the research aligns with the spiritual teachings and the insight that those give us? And that then shows you from two different perspectives, yeah, there must be something authentic and true here, because it's aligning. Course in Miracles and other high spiritual teachings are aligning with what the research has told us over a long period of time, 80 years, which is not a fluke. There's no, this is spurious research. The data is very clear on what it's telling us. And now we start to get a handle on reality. Right? Okay, so the theory says that, and then the research confirms it. So then the theory must be correct. Yes, this is correct. And because there's evidence that it's correct, I can now live my life based on this theory. I don't have to second guess. I can just trust the teachings that I'm learning to ultimately awaken me, which is very, very good news. Okay, so that leads us into our lesson for today, which we're going to dive into now. Now, any comments or questions about any of that?
No.
Yep.
Dive into the lesson now. So let's read the lesson in. Oh, right, wrong group. I posted that to the Telegram. Okay, never mind. So I was in WhatsApp rather than Telegram. I just realized. All right, so let's dive into lesson 103 then. God being love is also happiness. So if you want to read the original, maybe Archie and Elaine the alternative.
Yeah. God being
Sentence by
love.
sentence.
Yeah. God being love is also happiness.
God being perfect love or abundance is also happiness.
Yeah, so the extended version just goes more into God is love, God is perfect love. That perfect love we also call abundance. It's another way of framing it, and quite a useful way of framing it, because abundance is the opposite of scarcity. So sometimes we're dealing in things where it doesn't appear to be having to do with love. Maybe it's about money, it's about so-called lack, limitation. But the idea that it's abundance then brings up really into play. Love is abundant always in its thinking, doesn't know about lack and limitation. So to be in alignment with God or perfect love, you also need to think in abundance terms, in infinite, expanded ways, that reflect the abundant life that you are, that you have, the abundant love that is in your mind. Okay, so let's go on to number 1 then.
Should I read the original? So,
yes, please.
Happiness is an attribute of love.
Happiness is an attribute of love or abundance.
It cannot be apart from it.
It cannot be separate from it.
Nor can it be experienced where love is not.
Nor can it be experienced where love or abundance is not present.
Love has no limits, being everywhere.
Love or abundance has no limits, being everywhere.
And therefore joy is everywhere as well.
And therefore joy is everywhere as well.
Yet, can the mind deny that this is so, believing there are gaps in love where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy?
Yet my mind can deny that this is true, believing there are gaps in love or abundance where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy.
This strange belief would limit happiness by redefining love as limited and introducing opposition in what has no limit and no opposite.
This strange belief limits happiness by redefining love or abundance as limited and introducing opposition in what has no limit and no opposite. Happiness is an attribute of love or abundance. It cannot be separate from it, nor can it be experienced where love or abundance is not present. Love or abundance has no limits, being everywhere, and therefore joy is everywhere as well. Yet my mind can deny that this is true, believing there are gaps in love or abundance where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy. This strange belief limits happiness by redefining love or abundance as limited and introducing opposition in what has no limit and no opposite. So it's just saying about happiness, and it's all love and abundance, and there can't be any other separate sin or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two are completely interconnected. The one leads to the other. So when you're in love or abundance, you're naturally happy. And when you deny love or abundance, then you're not happy. As simple as that. That's a very, very simple teaching. But we have to forget that, won't we? The ego wants to make us forget that. Go into denial of love, denial of abundance, and thinking that somehow that's going to make us happy. And it just doesn't work. It never has worked. It never will work. The research shows that it doesn't work. Our experience shows it doesn't work. So why do we continue to believe it? Instead of just embracing the truth that only love will make us happy. But genuine, a genuine love, abundance, that's unconditional love. Still love. It's not love capital L, it's love with a small L. It's a substitute for unconditional love or abundance. Special love is conditional. So I love you if you do what I want you to do, and you meet my needs and you fulfill my expectations, but I don't love you if you don't. That's not unconditional love. That's not abundance. That's very conditional and very limited. And so it doesn't make us happy. How could it? Because it's not unlimited. It's not reflective of the unconditional, limitless love or abundance that is our source. Conditions and limitations are of the ego, not of our source. Okay, so a really, really simple message, but nevertheless a very profound one. He's mentioned this before. If you remember in lesson 66, there was a lesson on happiness. Yesterday's lesson was also on happiness and love. So he's just going over old ground, but reiterating this connection because it's a vital one. If we don't realize that love is the source of our happiness, we'll try all other avenues but love to make us happy, and we'll fail miserably. So we'll just save yourself a lot of hassle. Just realize this, and then you can just do what works. Okay, so let's listen to a slide. So Archie, if you can read that slide for us kindly.
Mm-hmm. We fear God because, sorry. We fear God because we believe that there are gaps in his love, that he is like a human father who loves us, but whose love has gaps, pockets where he is angry and uncaring.
Okay, then carry on. But God is love itself.
Okay, but God is love itself. Imagine taking the idea of perfect, unconditional love and making that idea aware. Now you would have a being that is perfect, loving awareness. Then think that this awareness is the fundamental awareness of every sentient being in the universe, which underlies and unites them all. This is the Course's expansive idea of God. Love is the fundamental awareness from which sentience in all sentient beings arises.
So the clay, it's the there's the in this case the dough that makes the gingerbread man. love is that substance, that fundamental awareness, essence, presence, whatever you want to call it, that underlies every sentient being. It's the very awareness that gives that sentient being life itself. So we could call it life itself. Love is life, is awareness, is abundance. The word, no word really does justice to what it is. It just is what it is. It's that which, without which there would be no life. There would be no awareness at all. We would not have existence without that. And so it's indefinable, it's intangible, but it's the most important thing. That is easy to overlook because it is indefinable and intangible. And so most people do overlook it, and their mind forgets that fundamental awareness that they are, and goes wandering in the world of thought and dreams, and tries to find some happiness apart from its very essence. So the gingerbread man goes wandering off and has this dream and forgets that he's a gingerbread man. Forgets what he's really made of. That's what this is saying. And the awakening to what you really are already is the spiritual journey. So various experiences. The gingerbread man is now thoroughly depressed with his life, and life's terrible, and maybe someone's eaten half his arm, and awful. But to awaken to who he is and just realize, well, I'm a gingerbread man made out of this fundamental substance called love. And that's my very nature. That's my essence. That's what we are here to do. Not get caught up with being a character that's seemingly a separate form, separate from the stuff that made us, and the bright buttons and the patterns and all of this. No, because none of that's true. The only thing that's true about us is the foundation of our being, this very substance of which we've made. That's the only thing we can really say. That's what I am. And that is our true awareness, which is intangible. So you can't see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, measure it in any way. But nevertheless, it's there. it must be there because we have awareness and we have life. So this is the very essence, the presence that the great philosophers, spiritual teachers, and so on have pointed us to. Said, well, there must be something there because you have awareness. You can think. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, but he was one step away from it. What he meant is that I have life because I'm aware of what I am. And I can now think as a result of that awareness. That's closer to the truth. The thought itself is just a derivative of awareness. All right. So interesting slide. All good, I hope. Happy to go to number 2. Quite a short lesson, I think it's only 5 paragraphs. So switch it around. Maybe Elaine, you read the original, sentence by sentence. Archie, you read the alternative kindly.
Fear is associated then with love, and its results become the heritage of minds that think they have made it real, is real.
Then fear is associated with love or abundance, and its results become the heritage of minds that think what they have made is real.
These images, with no reality and truth, bear witness to the fear of God. Forgetting being love, he must be joy.
These images, with no reality in truth or abundance, witness to the fear of perfect love or abundance, which must be also joy, which must be also be joy.
The basic error we will try again to bring to truth today and teach ourselves. God, being love, is also happiness.
I will try again to let go of this basic error and teach myself. Jonathan, you might just want to, that previous sentence, I think you've got an extra B in there. So I think it after perfect love or abundance, which must be also be joy. So I think which must also
be also
be joy.
be joy, right?
Yeah.
Missed that. Thanks for that.
And then from the top, then fear is associated with love or abundance, and it's.
We haven't finished it yet, so.
Oh, sorry.
God being love is also happiness.
And to fear.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
To fear the loving awareness of abundance. Oops, you just.
Yeah.
Well,
I
to
think
fear
you're right.
him
To
is to
fear
be
him is to
afraid
be
of
afraid
joy.
of joy.
Yeah.
God being perfect love or abundance is also happiness. To fear this loving awareness or abundance is to be afraid of joy.
Now begin your periods of practicing today with this association, which corrects the false belief that God is fear. It also emphasizes happiness belongs to you because of what he is.
I will begin my practice periods today with this association, which corrects the false belief that perfect love or abundance is fear. It also emphasizes that happiness is mine because of what it is and what I am.
From the top.
Then fear is associated with love or abundance, and its results become the heritage of minds that think what they have made is real. These images, with no reality in truth or abundance, witness to the fear of perfect love or abundance, which must also be joy. I will try again to let go of this basic error and teach myself. God, being perfect love or abundance, is also happiness. To fear this loving awareness or abundance is to be afraid of joy. I will begin my practice periods today with this association, which corrects the false belief that perfect love or abundance is fear. It also emphasizes that happiness is mine because of what it is and what I am.
Okay, thoughts on that?
just emphasizing not to kind of confuse, sort of fear with love or abundance. So just remembering through practice that happiness, perfect love, and abundance are one and the same.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. I think that's the message. And if you deny some of it, you deny all of it. So a little bit of scarcity in your thinking is a denial of love, is a denial of happiness. And you're essentially saying, I don't want to be happy. I think the inclusion of abundance here makes that abundantly clear, if you pardon the pun, that it must be, all encompassing and all inclusive. So perfect love is abundance. And if you're not thinking abundantly, you see examples of limited scarcity thinking all the time in this world. Again, you just got to observe how most people operate. They don't operate on an abundance framework. They operate in scarcity, like, but you've got to be careful. There's always a fear. There's a worry. There's usually not enough money. There's not enough resources to go around. So we've got to be careful. Mind your pennies, and so on and so on. And you see how that thought system is very entrenched in most people's life. But all of that is just a denial of love. And then we wonder why we're not very happy, because we spend our entire lives denying love in these little ways, but it makes a significant difference to our underlying state of happiness. And that affects our health and our well-being. Again, go back to the Blue Zone research. These people live very long lives because they're happy. So they don't want to exit. They're quite happy to stay around and enjoy their life and be part of life in their community, their village, because they're living in this loving, abundant way.
But it's
when
also
we don't feel that, then we want to
though.
exit. Then the incentive to die early is great, and so the mind makes a plan to do that. Remember, the ego is a death wish. Sorry, Archie, do you have a question?
Sorry, I just wanted to say, but they also live very simply as well. So
yeah.
I mean, going back to what you said earlier, though, about because I do get it that to have an abundance mindset, but also when I do think about our use of resources, I do think that we need to be responsible and not squander them as well. So it's I don't
That's
know.
part of it. That's part of abundance.
Yeah. So I don't see kind of like for your example of, say, for example, watching your pennies. I don't see that as not having, being associated necessarily with a scarcity mindset, but more just about taking responsibility. Because, a lot of people that I like, for example, John DeMartini, talks about money and saying that, when you can manage money, you get more money to manage. So if you can demonstrate, responsibility around wealth, then basically you get rewarded in more wealth to manage. So
so use it wisely.
Yeah.
It's not saying go and squander it and waste it. That's not wise.
No.
It's to say, you're going to use it in a way that is not promoting fear. Money shouldn't be used as a tool for fear. So
yes,
you might say, okay,
yeah.
so yes, like on the level of form, I'm going to, or let's say I travel to South Africa. I'm not going to travel business class because that's just silly. That's a waste of resources.
Yeah.
I can use those resources better elsewhere.
Yes.
I've got other things to do with it. So I'm being frugal and economic because those resources are valuable to me at this point, and I need to use them wisely. Now that's not scarcity. That's just being wise and intelligent.
Yeah. That's what I just wanted to sort
But
of show that
if
distinction.
you go,
Yeah.
let's say you could help someone and you go, oh no, I can't do that because I don't have enough, and I'm worried I won't have enough, and so I'm going to contract and I'm going to constrict, and I won't give freely and generously. That's the ego coming in and sabotaging your abundance through fear. And you've got to be very honest with yourself as to what it is. Are you just being frugal and economic and actually trying to use your resources wisely, which is a good thing, or are you actually just being tight and ungenerous, and denying love in doing that? And part of the awakening process is discerning the difference. What is actually fine and okay with the Holy Spirit, and it's being guided by that, and what is not, what is actually fear, really, if you be honest. And interestingly, you look at the blue zones again, they live their very simple lives and they use everything. They're very frugal. They use everything, but there's an abundance in that. They're like, okay, I'm not gonna just chuck away something that could be used, because that has a use value. It has a purpose. It has a meaning. This modern life epitomized by what goes on in the United States, because that's the kind of extreme of it. I think I read a stat somewhere like 99% of product made and consumed in the US are literally trashed within 6 months. I'm not sure, but that was a stat I think it was in one of the Thrive movies. So I haven't verified that, but it's probably up there. It's a very high percentage. Just squander stuff. It doesn't really matter. Trash it. But hang on, that has a use value. That has some value. It has a meaning. It has a purpose. A lot of resources have gone into creating that. So that's not an abundance mindset. That's just wasteful, squanderous, and sloppy in one's thinking. I remember, I think I mentioned it. I used a pair of shoes that had been thrown away by an American tenant of my sister. Just perfectly good shoes, nothing wrong with them. They were almost brand new. He just chucked them in the bin, and I used them for another 10 years. I'm like, well, because they were perfectly good. Just the fact that he'd put them in a bin didn't mean that they weren't fine. It was decided he'd discard them because he couldn't be bothered. To give them you could do so much else with those. You could give them to someone else. You'd say, oh, would you like these, etc. So that actually was an ungenerous mindset in just throwing them away. Wasn't really thinking about others. So very interesting. Fascinating, really. How it works. Any comments or questions on that, Elaine?
No, that's clear.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. All right. So happy to go on.
Yeah.
Okay. So go on to number 3 then.
Could you share your screen, please, Jonathan?
Yes, I'll share my screen. Sorry, I just needed to deal with that call from someone. Interestingly, talking about abundance, that's the guy about my Chrome deal, just phoning. So it's like, okay, because he hasn't really done much this week. So all right, we'll just let it go, and all things happen for good. Trust, and there you go. Interesting timing. So let's go back to here. So There's another slide, Elaine, if you can read that one.
Happiness is an attribute of love. It cannot be experienced where love is not present. Then there's a little suitcase with happiness and love in it.
Yeah, it's quite a nice idea, actually. I like some of these images.
Yeah, they're good.
So
Yeah.
love is the suitcase, happiness is the tag that goes along with the suitcase. The suitcase is full, then you get the tag that goes on with it, in the same way as they tag your bag when you travel on an airline. The main thing is the suitcase, but the tag just kind of goes along as an added extra. And then that's quite a good way of thinking of happiness. Instead of I'm just searching for my happiness, I'm looking for happiness, I'm seeking for it. No, instead of that, you say it's already there. If I just am in this loving awareness, if love and abundance is in my mind, and I consistently choose that, then happiness is going to be tagged on. And so then just read. That's essentially what that little comment on it below is saying. So if you can read that for us, Elaine.
Therefore, happiness, like a tag attached to a suitcase, wherever that suitcase goes, when love is present, happiness automatically goes with it. However, if love is absent, you can look for happiness everywhere, but it will remain frustratingly elusive. Could this be why your search for happiness has always failed?
Yeah, because we've been looking for something that is a byproduct of what we've denied. Okay, so here's the conundrum of the ego. In order to exist, you have to deny love to be a separate self. Now you seek for happiness in that separate self, and you never find it, and you wonder why you're never finding it, why you can never find happiness. It's because your very separate identity that you value and cherish is a product of the denial of love, which makes you unhappy. See why the ego is in such a pickle, and why there's no way out within its thought system. No matter what you do within the ego, you will never be happy. There's no hope in its thought system, in other words, for happiness. So the only way you're going to do this is if you are willing to let go of your separate self, really accept love, and then the happiness that goes with that. But that means you can't be a separate self anymore. So to be happy, you can't be a separate self. That's what this teaching is saying. Now, most teachings are saying, no, you can find happiness. It's somewhere out there, and here's a pathway to find it, whatever that may be. I'll show you the way to happiness. This is the whole personal growth industry. Follow me, follow this teaching, and you'll find happiness. But it's elusive. We don't find it, certainly not permanently. It doesn't last. We might find a little glimmer of something, and then it's frustratingly elusive. It goes. Why? Because we're looking for it where it's not possible, where we're never going to find it. In a thought system that by definition denies happiness. What a pickle we've got ourselves in. I mean, that's just what a mind job the ego's done on us. But once you start to see that conundrum, you can unlock it. You can awaken from it. It's like the knot that Alexander the Great was predicted to untie, but he actually just cut it. This famous knot, and he just went, I'm just going to cut through it, because spending hours and hours trying to untie the knot is pointless. Just cut through it, and that's what this teaching does. Cut through all the rubbish, all the nonsense of the ego, and cut to the core, which is that love is happiness. Very, very simple. Full stop. Love is happiness. Full stop. So when I embrace genuine, divine love, unconditional love, then I don't have to worry about my happiness. It's a given. It's just gonna be there. I don't have to go and seek for it. It's gonna be there, and I know that because because now I'm understanding how happiness is produced, what happiness derives from. So again, really, really simple ideas, but these are profoundly transformational. Do most people live their lives in this way? Do most people understand that happiness is just a product of love? And if they dedicate their life to divine love, unconditional love, they're going to be happy. How many people live that way? You know, that living that way is an awakened life, is an enlightened life. Very, very few people in today's world live that way. It's more about what's in it for me and how can I find some scraps of happiness in the separate self. And then I think that certain things are going to do that. Maybe it's a special relationship, maybe it's more money, a better career, children, maybe it's a substance, maybe it's achieving success in a certain activity or career, etc., etc. And we forget that it is actually love itself that makes us happy. Again, looking to the research, looking to what's shown in the blue zones, very, very similar, very similar research. The research bears this out, but it's love itself. It's the warmth of those loving relationships, those connections that help people to be happy and to live these long, healthy lives. And when that's removed, then the blue zone disappears. It's as simple as that. There's no longer a blue zone. When you lose that sense of community, as has happened in places like Okinawa and so on, that traditional social order has been broken down, and then they lose the benefits. A lot of and yes, other things change as well, diets but then you could argue maybe those are symptoms of the lack of love. Why do people then eat junk food and spend a lot of time on social media and do these other things? Because they're missing something in their lives. They're missing that loving awareness. And so they replace it with other things that are illusions. Yeah, so fascinating, really profound, very, very simple insights. But this is what's actually going to work to help us to be genuinely, authentically happy, not just sometimes, not just on a very temporary basis, but all the time. It's not to say you're never going to get tested, but you can very quickly restore your mind to happiness when you know these principles, because you can just let go of the blocks to awareness of love's presence, restore your mind to love. Okay, so happy to go on to number 3.
Shall I read the original?
Yes, please.
Allow this one correction to be placed within your mind each waking hour today.
I will allow this one correction to arise in my awareness each waking hour today.
Then welcome all the happiness it brings as truth replaces fear and joy becomes what you expect to take the place of pain.
Then I will welcome all the happiness it brings as truth or abundance replaces fear and joy become what I expect to take the place of pain.
God being love, it will be given you.
God is perfect love, all abundance, and so happiness and joy are mine.
Bolster this expectation frequently throughout the day and quiet all your fears with this assurance, kind and wholly true. Shall I read the rest? God.
Yeah. God being love is also happiness. Just read those one at a time.
Yeah. God being love is also happiness.
God being perfect love or abundance is also happiness.
And it is happiness I seek today.
And it is happiness I want today.
I cannot fail because I seek the truth.
I cannot fail because I choose only the truth or abundance.
Okay, and then from the top of that.
I will allow this one correction to arise in my awareness each waking hour today. Then I will welcome all the happiness it brings as truth or abundance replaces fear, and joy becomes what I expect to take the place of pain. God is perfect love or abundance, and so happiness and joy are mine. I will accept the truth or abundance frequently throughout the day and let go of all my fears with this kind and wholly true affirmation. God being perfect love or abundance is also happiness, and it is happiness I want today. I cannot fail because I choose only the truth or abundance. So it's just asking us to just take this one correction to our awareness every waking hour and just welcome this happiness that is the truth. It'll be replaced by all this unnecessary fear.
So perfect love is very appropriate in our relationships. If there's any difficulty, there's any tendency to want to hold a grievance, then we think of it as perfect love. But in many other instances, thinking of it as abundance is really helpful. So you might be, worried about money. You might be just engaging in worry generally. Maybe it's worry about your life, your health, state of the world, whatever. Now that doesn't appear to be overtly about love, but the idea that love is abundance definitely hammers the point home, isn't it? Yeah. So is this abundant thinking? You ask yourself, am I thinking abundantly now by worrying about the future? Am I thinking abundantly when I'm worried I won't have enough money? Is that abundance? Well, evidently it's not. Does that make me happy? No. It makes me worried, it makes me anxious, it makes me very unhappy. So my job becomes to let it go and choose instead the truth or abundance that is already there within me. It's not material abundance, it's about what's going on in your thoughts, in your mind, and in your awareness. But that in time can reflect in the material world. If you constantly choose that truth or abundance, in fact, it has to reflect in your world because your world is a projection or extension of your mind. So the law is that it must. If you keep doing that, it has to show up in the physical world, in the material world, as within, so without. In how that looks, you don't know. So don't get attached to the form of how it looks, but it is going to show up if you consistently change your mind and start going into this truth, this abundance, and really connecting with it and feeling it. Then you must start living a more abundant life and things start changing for you on the level of form. And that is the law. It cannot be any way else because the mind is connected to the exterior. If we look at, see if we can find the anywhere. Course manual. There we go. We go to the integral model. It tells us very clearly that the internal is connected to the external. So integral model. There we go. We see that this is Ken Wilber's theory of mind called the integral model. We see upper left is the individual interior quadrant, our subjective experience is connected to the exterior objective perceiving reality. That's our behavior, that's our body, and they're all connected by the dots, by the circles, like contour lines in a map. So if you're thinking and feeling from your higher self, on a higher level, and you do that consistently, that will show up in the exterior reflection of that, because that's the way reality works. They are integrally connected. The I is connected with the it, is connected with the it's on the collective level, is connected with the we, which is the intersubjective. That's a sense of we think, we feel, we have these values and meanings, and so on. All of it is bound up. All of it's interconnected. You can't change one without changing everything else. It ripples through. The only way to create authentic change in this is change the I, change the subjective sense of self, which is what the course is recommending. Just change your sense of I, your self-concept, in other words. And as you do that, you're going to then change the it, the it's, and the we automatically. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the lesson then. So there's a slide to read. So Archie, maybe you can read that.
Mm-hmm. God, love, and God, love, and happiness. This lesson links three words that we typically see as separate, or at least separable. It is our nature to intensely desire all of these. What could be more perfect then? What could be more perfect then than going to a single place and finding all of three of them there together?
Yeah, and there's the diagram saying you go to the light, God, our true awareness. Remember, God is pure formless awareness of perfect love. You go into that light, that awareness, and you find love there, and you find happiness there. It's all given to you in that awareness. So what could be simpler? Just go and go into that awareness. Except that, of course, you have to then deny all other awareness. That's where it gets tricky. So in order to go into God, you have to deny all of the unhappy awareness of your separate self, which is what you've convinced yourself is you. So all everything in the darkness here on the fringes, which you got lost in, you thought that was you have to let that all go and penetrate in to the pure awareness that sits beyond it at your core, at your center.
Hmm. Okay, are you able to edit the text in that, Jonathan? Because there's just an extra of in that last sentence.
No, it's an image, but
Okay.
something I can fix it. Can fix it by overlaying the image and creating another one. Which where this lesson.
So after finding all, it should be finding all three of them there together. So you've got an extra of after the all in the last sentence.
Okay. Finding all of three of them together. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that can be fixed. Thanks for pointing it out. I just have to rewrite the whole thing and then overlay it on the image and create another image. But it's because I didn't create the original images. Or actually, I can ask AI to fix it. Probably AI would fix it as well. I just tell it to tell it what to say, and then it's gonna remove that. It's quite good like that. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. All helps to get rid of the little errors.
Well, it's just that when you read them, I kind of stumbled on that because when I was reading it word for word, and I thought,
no, I get it. No. Like I didn't. The disclaimer is I didn't do this. Someone else did it. But I should check it. But often it's 3 in the morning, and I'm like literally like falling asleep. So it's like okay, just it slips through the cracks. But over time, if we keep doing this just every year improve it. It's like okay, I can fix that and fix that. Becomes eventually error free. as our mind does in the process. Yeah, so actually a really short lesson. There's only 3 paragraphs to that. Very, very short and sweet, but I think enormously profound. You know, these lessons are incredibly powerful once you understand what he's saying. You know, it's a revolution in our thinking. We're so used to looking for happiness outside of ourselves. It's just saying, you know, forget that and go to love. And if you go into this loving awareness, then everything will be given to you. Your happiness, your peace, your love, your joy, everything you yearn for is going to come from that loving awareness or God. So surrender to that, give your life to that, and everything comes. But that makes a whole lot more sense than if you say, "Oh, just surrender to God," because what does that even mean? You know, surrender to God does. You know, again, what does God mean? Does that mean that you've got to obey all these commandments and you know now seemingly be dictated to by this vengeful, wrathful, separate God somewhere in the sky? No, not at all. Surrender to God means you surrender to your own true awareness, your own deepest awareness, your own loving awareness. You listen to that and you honor that, and that's alone. So the language and how we frame it is really important for our understanding of it and our acceptance of it. Okay, I'm just really accepting my own true nature, my own loving awareness. That's all God is. So that's not like I'm submitting or surrendering or obeying something else that's now seeking to command and control my life. I'm just listening to my own true nature. Well, that makes complete sense then. If once you understand it, why wouldn't you want to do that? So you know, a lot of the religious concepts are not helpful. They separate us from the truth, and we've got to penetrate through those into a deeper understanding of what they really mean. That understanding was always there. Stand in the original teaching of it. The person who taught it, let's say Yeshua in our particular spiritual teaching, was a mystic, and he fully understood, and he tried to communicate that understanding, but his followers didn't really get it, so they didn't communicate that understanding necessarily very well, and then within a generation or two, that understanding is lost, and lesser minds then take the teachings and they make them into something else. And they interpret them in a way that actually makes it harder and makes God more distant. And that's exactly what happened with Christianity. Many other religions as well, but in its case, that was quite a marked process. That there was a departure from the original teachings quite early on, and within 330 years, the teaching had become a mechanism of control to control the Roman Empire, which at the time of giving the teaching was the oppressor, was what Yeshua was one of the things he was trying to liberate people from worldly authority. He was hardly pro-Roman, was he? So, you know, interesting how it goes, isn't it? How the ego works. And no one, the interesting thing is that people don't question this. You know, discerning people just accept, because it's gone on for so long, because the lie is nearly 2,000 years old. We accept, oh, well, it must be the truth, but maybe it was a lie. And it just got told over and over and over again. And now that lie has become institutionalized and entrenched. And we're taught not to question, but questioning it is blasphemy. But actually, if you just go and uncover what really happened, you see very clearly. I remember when I was doing research into the early Christian church, I was pretty shocked. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know any of this. It's pretty shocking what actually went down. Okay, now I'm starting to understand why formal religion is the way it is, and why these teachings don't really resonate, because they're a lie, and the truth got covered over by that lie. And now our job is to discover the truth, to let go of the lie and uncover the truth. And those that don't want to do that will accuse you of blasphemy, but that just means they're not willing to really go to the original truth of the teaching, which is there for all to see, particularly now. And I guess the lie was well perpetuated, and the truth was covered over quite well for hundreds, even thousands of years. But given what's happened in the last say 70 years, that's no longer the case. We now have these Eastern teachings very, very much available. We have the Nag Hammadi Gospels. Those were found by an act of grace that tell us a different story. We have, of course, the miracles that tells us a different story of what Yeshua taught. So these alternatives are there. It's just, do you accept them or not? Or do you continue to dogmatically believe in the falsity and the lie that has been perpetuated for a long, long time? Okay, so on that note, any other thoughts, comments, questions on this one? Do you think it's going to help you to be happier?
Mm-hmm.
You really lived in this way.
Sure.
It's saying you only need to do one thing, and that's go into love.
Yeah.
Live in this loving awareness, in this abundance, and you're going to be happy by default.
Yeah.
That's again the interesting thing about looking at these older societies and the blue zones and stuff. As you see, these people aren't seeking happiness. They're just living their lives in a loving, abundant way, and then happiness is there.
Yeah.
It follows them. They're not desperately seeking for happiness. They're just living in a certain way that is in alignment with love or abundance, and then happiness is there, and they end up living long, healthy, happy lives. It's so simple, and yet we miss it in the modern world with all of our sophistication and technology, and we've just overlooked the simple truth. That's the staggering thing. In all of this complexity that the ego is engaged in to try and bring us happiness, we've missed it. We've covered it over, we've missed it. And actually people who didn't go down that track, who just stayed, living in a more traditional way, have it. So then, you then have to question the entire modern civilization we've designed, don't you? The blue zones rock that whole foundation. Go, well, maybe all this so-called progress isn't progress at all. Maybe we've been going backwards.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking of
for generations.
I was just thinking of Bhutan as well. Bhutan always features as the happiest nation, doesn't it, in the world? Yeah.
And you see what these nations are doing, and the principles are there. There's something deeper that they value. They never value the material. You look at United States of America, right? Very good example. I'm not demonizing anyone or anything, but that culture has led to more wealth creation, more material stuff than any other culture, any other society in history. Right? It's the epitome of scientific materialism, of the idea that we can make ourselves happy through material progress, through achieving things, through doing things. But then you look at the society and it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
70% of people are obese, plagued by ill health, plagued by all kinds of modern lifestyle diseases, plagued by separation in all of its forms, broken families, broken relationships, fragmented societies. Not everywhere, obviously. There are exceptions, but by and large, not a happy, healthy, functional environment. So what does that tell you? Yes, all of this seeking for happiness in the material has not worked. The pursuit of happiness, it's actually in the Declaration of Independence that founded the whole country.
Mm.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of
Mm.
happiness.
Mm.
Not happiness,
Mm.
the pursuit of it. Interesting.
Mm. Yeah.
And then you create a society based on that principle. Okay, let's pursue happiness. We'll chase it and chase it. We'll chase the American dream, and we'll never get there. We'll never find that elusive happiness, because that's the way it was set up from the very start, from the founding document. Because obviously that was in Thomas Jefferson's mind, that happiness was elusive. Okay, well, imagine if it had said happiness, life, liberty, and happiness, rather than the pursuit of happiness. Maybe the entire history of the country would be different. We don't know.
Or even if it just had the word love in there. So life, liberty, and love.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That would have been even more direct, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because love is the source of happiness.
Yeah.
So life, liberty, and love, but obviously that wasn't in Thomas Jefferson's mind. It wasn't as awakened as that. It was about, still happiness, but happiness is elusive. So we'll put in the pursuit of happiness rather than, happiness or love. Might have changed everything. The founding documents spiritually laid out what America would stand for. And both the seed of its success and the seed of its failure were in that. Because on one level, it was a pretty amazing document. It was about, being able to pursue happiness and freedom and have free will and, think freely. Yeah, there was some good stuff in there, but it was still too limited. It didn't go into the source of happiness, which is love and higher awareness. It was still very much in craving, right? If you look at it from a Buddhist point of view, the pursuit of happiness is what? Craving, desire.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you create a society that's all about craving and desire. As Mick Jagger famously said, I can't get no satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I try, and I try, and I try, and I just can't do it. It doesn't matter how much I try, it doesn't matter how much material stuff I produce, it's elusive. I still can't get it. And there's the story of a very dysfunctional, sick, and frustrated society. But it's just a mindset. It's just a mistaken belief system that's driving all of that, which has become now part of a culture. And we go, well, that's American culture, and that's spread around the world, and many people, many different societies have copied it. Sadly, because it's not a healthy, happy way to live. And we see that again. A lot of these older cultures, until the point where they became westernized, i.e. Americanized, they were quite happy. And then as soon as all that rubbish comes in, suddenly, all the dysfunction kind of goes along with it. Tibet's an example. About 30 years ago, people still lived in a very traditional way, and it was all, very simple. And they were poor. They didn't have a lot of material wealth, but they had their house, and they took care of it, and they were very sort of house proud. And then as soon as they got exposed to Western TV and marketing and advertising and Western products, you know what happened? All of that went away. And suddenly people, instead of going, oh, I'm actually happy with what I have and I'm content, now I'm not, because now I go into the desire. Now I need something more, because you know what? I've seen on the TV that it's possible to have this and this and this, and I'd like that. And now I'm in craving and desire, which, as the Buddha pointed out 2,500 years ago, is the source of all suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there you go. Right? Analyzing it from these spiritual principles gives you a whole perspective on human history, Western civilization, why things have turned out the way they have, why we've created the kind of world we have, the society we have, why it doesn't work, why it's so unhappy. Well, it's because it's based on the wrong principles. And so you can't fix it as long as you hold to those principles. You've got to change those principles, which is why it needs a radical revolution. We need to go back to how it was before. That's what the research and the spiritual teachings are telling us. And like, and now that doesn't mean we're not going to have the technology, because that's there, it's been created, but we can choose to use that in a different way.
Yeah.
Instead of letting that desire and that the fear as well guide us, and let technology drive us into these unhealthy patterns and ways of life. We say no. Any technology must serve us. It must serve our love and our health and our happiness. And if it doesn't do that, then it's not a good technology. We shouldn't adopt it. Which would, means often a lot of change. We can make, we can't change what's happened on a societal level, but you can change how you choose to use it. That's a choice everyone has, and more and more people are starting to do that, and saying, okay, so this is not all it's cracked up to be. The cell phone companies and the tech companies would have you believe that happiness lies in your phone, but it doesn't, clearly. So maybe we just need to start using it as a useful tool, but being able to let go of it and put it down and engage in other things that are more meaningful and more rewarding, like conversation and helping others, and those things that don't require a phone. Just the art of sitting down and talking to someone, and connecting with someone, and therein lies the simple formula for happiness. That is age-old, time-tested, and it doesn't need a phone. It doesn't need expensive technology. It doesn't need anything except a willingness to apply those principles. So it's a really, really, really powerful lesson today. Very powerful, very simple, but very, very powerful teaching, which is life-changing if you accept it. One of these lessons, this lesson alone, could absolutely change your life if you just accepted it as true and said, okay, I'm going to live this way. Absolutely game-changing. Each one of these lessons are, if you really choose to listen. Okay, so any other thoughts or comments or questions? Elaine, you've been quite quiet. Any
I'm just
thoughts to add?
No, that's good.
All right. So shall we do a meditation on this to close out the session then?
That would be great. Yeah.
All right. Let's do it then. Just give me a moment. Let me get this going. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. Start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. Lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine. Into your heart center. And on up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So scan your mind and notice any thoughts, emotions that you could call unhappy. Anything that disturbs your peace of mind. It's not happy, loving, flowing. It feels not nice, essentially. Just notice that, breathe into it. Nice deep breath in, and remind yourself that God being love, God being perfect love, or abundance in our alternative language, is also happiness. So if I'm not happy, I'm denying God. I'm denying perfect love. I'm denying abundance. It's very, very simple. And so just decide to let go of that. Just drop all of that. Exhale out. Blow it out through your nose, through your mouth, if you prefer. Just letting it go. Going, gone with the breeze of your breath. And find a sense of contentment, peace, and we could call happiness. Just being present in the moment is happiness. And so just listening as I read this to you, you can say these words after me in your own mind aloud if you want. Put yourself on mute, say it aloud as an affirmation, or you can just think it in your mind. To affirm your happiness. So breathing in and breathing out. And happiness, as you breathe in, is an attribute of love or abundance. And just feel into that as you say that. Feel an expansiveness, an openness in your heart. You can put one hand in your heart center as you breathe into it. Happiness is an attribute of this love or abundance. It cannot be separate from this love or abundance. Or can it be experienced where love or abundance is not present? Love or abundance has no limits, being everywhere. And therefore joy is everywhere as well. So breathe this in. And enjoy joy is everywhere as well. So just breathe that in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's in this lovely joy. Feel it in your heart. Acknowledge that your mind can deny that this is true. You have done that all too frequently in your life. And believe that there are gaps in love or abundance where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy. A strange belief in something other than love or abundance limits happiness. this strange belief limits happiness by redefining love or abundance as limited. How can the unlimited be limited? How can abundance itself not be abundant? Abundance and limitation contradict each other, as do love and fear. So have a sense of just reflecting on the thought system and just see this love or abundance in your heart, in your mind. Feel it, connect with it. And embrace it. Once you accept this love, this abundance internally, then everything changes. Everything shifts. You say to yourself, fear is associated with love or abundance, and its results become the heritage of minds that think what they've made is real. Breathe in as you do this. Just scan your mind and observe that all of these fears that you've had in the past, maybe you have some now, worries, fears, anxiety, these images have no reality and truth. The truth is abundant. Truth is abundance. Is witness to the fear of perfect love or abundance, which must also be joy. And so I'll try again to let go of this basic error. So I'll let go of this basic error and teach myself that God, being perfect love or abundance, is also happiness. Breathe in on that. God, being perfect love or abundance, is also happiness. And so to fear this loving awareness or abundance is to be afraid of joy. If you feel this abundance, you're afraid of your own joy. What a ridiculous position to be in. So this idea corrects the false belief that perfect love or abundance is fear, and it also emphasizes that happiness is mine. Happiness is yours because of what it is and what you are. So if you really connect with who you are, then happiness is just an attribute of that. You can't experience it where love is not present. But when love is there, it's like a tag attached to a suitcase, wherever that suitcase goes. So, suitcase of love goes around and happiness automatically goes with it. However, if love is absent, you can look for happiness everywhere, but it will remain frustratingly elusive. As we see, you seek and you seek, and you seek for happiness outside of you, but you never find it. Seek and do not find is the ego's mantra. Maybe your search for happiness has always failed because you're looking in the wrong place. So allow this one correction to occur to you, to arise in your awareness each waking hour for the rest of today. And welcome all the happiness it brings. As truth or abundance replaces fear, joy becomes what I expect to take the place of pain. God is perfect love or abundance. And so happiness and joy are mine. Say that to yourself. You breathe in. God is perfect love or abundance, and so happiness and joy are mine. I experience them not sometime in the past or future, but right now. Breathe in and just embrace those thoughts and the feelings that go with them. Feel deeply into them. So I will accept this truth or abundance frequently throughout the day and let go of all my fears with this kind and holy truth. Affirmation. Say to yourself, God, if you breathe in on this, God being perfect love or abundance, is also happiness. And it is happiness I want today. Therefore, I must choose perfect love or abundance. And I cannot fail in this. Tell yourself that. I cannot fail because I choose only the truth or abundance. Lack, limitation, loss, scarcity. You put these behind you, you let them go. Cannot fail because I choose only the truth. Amen. So be it. And now just surrender into this truth or abundance. It's just a feeling that all is well. Everything's okay, everything's at peace. There's no problem except in your mind, except in your imagination. And sink into this abundance. Perfect love or abundance There's not somewhere else, somewhere out there in the future, given to you by some magic in the world, some event, circumstance, person, place, event, achievement. It is right here, right now, in this present moment, which is infinitely abundant. So just sink into that, breathing in and out through your nose, watching the breath. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax. Still, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. Know that you are one. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, observe the breath. Sink inwards, go deeper and deeper and deeper with each breath into this perfect, loving awareness, which is abundant in its nature, is abundant itself, as I should put it, abundant life. You have life more abundantly. Its source is this in your own mind. So just for a couple of minutes, enjoy the silence. In this silence, you can experience perfect loving awareness, the abundance of life. Right here, right now. Allow yourself to do that as you breathe, relax. Be still. Breathe in and out through the nose. Any thoughts come in to seemingly disturb this perfectly loving, abundant feeling. Anxious thought, fear thought, doubt, disbelief, anger, fear, resentment, guilt, and all these thoughts deny this abundance of perfect loving awareness, actually contradict it. So sinking inwards, blowing away. I have a sense of this inner abundance there, always has been there, always will be there. Just any negative thoughts, emotions, just observe those and let them go, reminding yourself God, being perfect love or abundance, is also happiness. And it is only happiness I want today. I cannot fail because I choose only this truth, abundance. And then to help you do that, just letting go of all of that isn't abundance. Get it in your heart, your mind, and your energy system. Breathe into it one more time, and then imagine it's like a dark cloud or black smoke just being dissipated by the light of your true awareness. Imagine a brilliant golden or white light flowing in and blowing away this dark cloud or black smoke. Exhale out through your mouth as you do that, letting it go, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, pull the last remaining air out, and into the exhale, just rest for a minute or two in this timeless, eternal, abundant state. There's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do, there's nothing else to think about at all. Just surrender to your being, what it means to surrender to God. And now just gently bring your awareness back from this deep state of loving awareness and abundance. Bring it back into your mind, into your body, into the world on the count of three. And you're going to open your eyes on the count of three. So one, just breathing in, and noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. So, one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air into the nostrils. And pause at the top. Inhale. Notice the breath flowing into your nostrils. Pause and scan your mind. So noticing thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels gated, limiting, contracted, and constricting in any way. Breathe into it. It helps you can imagine breathing light into that area of constriction and contraction, whether that's in the heart, in the stomach, elsewhere. Breathe in the light of this true awareness and say one more time, God being perfect love or abundance is also happiness. And it's happiness I want today. I cannot fail because I choose only the truth for abundance. Exhale, blow it away. There you go. I count to 2. As you exhale, releasing the last remaining vestiges of this lack of abundance, this fear, anxiety, and anger, frustration, guilt. Blow it away with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. Pull the low stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. Pause briefly, notice the stillness between breaths. There's no duality, no inhale, no exhale, just this peace of God, surpassable understanding as it's been called. And now you're going to just notice your senses in this very calm, quiet, aware way. Notice what you smelling as you breathe in, tasting, touching with your hands, taste in the mouth, smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing. In the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things on this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. State of mind without illusions. Only the truth is true. Anchor the state in. Get used to this. This is your natural state, your divine inheritance, your natural heritage, as the lesson says. So anchor it in, connect with it. You want to restore your mind into this state. No, it's meant to go elsewhere. Now, finally, on the count of 3, you can open your eyes. So just looking around, noticing what's going on in your environment for a minute or so. Notice how clear and calm and peaceful everything is. Just anchoring the state in. So notice how very nice this state in is. It's not, you're not excited, you're not fearing anything. It's just a very smooth, calm awareness. This is loving awareness. This is the happiness we're talking about, which is your natural state, is always there. So the more you notice it, the more you invite that state in. So just notice how it feels and invite your mind to stay in that state for the rest of the evening and on into your weekend. And that, I believe is the end of the meditation and the session.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Only a pleasure.
Yeah. So off to bed now.
Yeah. Well, good preparation for that.
Yeah.
Just try and stay in this abundant feeling, in this connected feeling through the weekend. And whenever that's not there, and notice that and go, okay, I just got to let go of that feeling. And that's, the most simple practice of the course. That's all we're being asked to do, really, is just notice our state when it's out of alignment with love. Make a choice to let go of the feeling that's blocking that awareness of love's presence. You sort of go, well, could it be that simple? But it is. This isn't rocket science. It's really, really simple. It's just that mental discipline to stay aware continuously and catch those negated thoughts and emotions that block the awareness of love's presence as and when they come, and then go, okay, I'm just going to let it go. That's not true. I'm letting it go. And I'm restoring my mind systematically and progressively to this loving awareness, which brings me everything I want. Happiness and peace and love and joy is all in there. I don't need to go seeking for it. I just need to let go of what it's not, of what denies it. All right. So all good. I will see you next week. Let me know what your schedule is like over the weekend. Would you want to do that now?
Can I do that later, actually, Jonathan? I'll send you a message tomorrow morning.
Maybe we could look at Tuesday afternoon for a session at, like, say, 1 o'clock, and then a Wednesday or Thursday evening. But let me know what works. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
All right.
Then bye. Good night.
Have a lovely evening and a good weekend.
Thanks.
Bye. Namaste.
Bye. Namaste.
All right, so that is a wrap for today. If you enjoyed that, then why not do it? You can do a couple of things. Subscribe to the channel so you get more of these kinds of videos. I'll be sharing more of these week. And if you want to go into lifebuild.com, you can back in lifebuild.com into your browser, or there's a link in the comments box below in the YouTube video where you can go there and sign up to receive my daily inspirational quote and some of the content that I showed you, comments on the quote, and mind training lesson from Course in Miracles, and the breath break to help you practice that, and invitations to join these live sessions. And sometimes Saturdays I give you movies to watch, and other resources like past discussion sessions, all really designed to help you to change your mind out of the ego's thought system and accept the happiness that love brings you moment by moment. So if that sounds good, head over to lifeball.com, put in your mobile number that you use for Telegram. Make sure that you've got Telegram downloaded and installed on your mobile device. You can get it free on the Google Play or App Store, Google Telegram, and you will find it. And once you're in, I will add you to the list. And so look for you very soon. Hope to connect with you in the group, maybe in one of these live sessions soon. And whatever you do, keep letting go of the ego and embracing the love that is the only source of happiness. So thanks for watching, listening, and namaste, which means the love and the happiness and the abundance in me was that same perfect love, happiness, and abundance in you. I'm wishing you much love and peace and joy in that.